Hello, good morning, and welcome to this new week. It's TAF TV, the newspaper review here on TAF TV. Of course, this is where we analyze and dissect trending and catchy headlines every day. We come into the streets, at the streets of Port Harcourt, at a newspaper stand to be precise, where we discuss newspaper headlines with people on the streets, papers making a round, and let's hear what they have to say about the headlines making the rounds. My name is Obed Jerry, your host for today. Of course, you can also be a part of the show. Do well to subscribe, turn on the notification button, follow us across all our social media platforms, so that when we draw videos like this, you get to receive it firsthand. All right, without wasting much of our time, let's look into the newspapers. Let's see the stories that are on the papers. Let's look at the Vanguard newspaper. We see at the top story here, today being Monday, 29th January 2024. We see at the top story here reads, Federal Government inaugurates Minimum Wage Committee tomorrow. Details of the story is found on page 9. Corrupt governance responsible for insecurity, banditry in North. Sub-story under that reads, Afeni Ferre expresses worry over upsurge in kidnapping in Southwest. Others. Says VP Shetima. Details found on page 25. Insecurity, we are taking fight to criminals then, says federal government. Details found on page 9 also of the Vanguard newspaper. Alright, we see at the banner story here reads, Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger pulls out of Ecowas. Sub-story under that reads, we are ready for negotiation solution, says Ecowas Commission. Another sub-story under that reads, Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger on suspension from ECOWAS, says presidency. It's a serious diplomatic meltdown, says Atiku. If you want to know more of the story, please pick a copy of the Vanguard newspaper and turn into page 5. Still on the newspaper, as we see here, Umahi orders arrest of street traders on Federal Highway in Aba. Details found on page 13. Forex crisis. High import duties depress vehicle, other imports. Sub-story under that reads, dealer laments poor sales. Bleak 2024 predicted as Naira sinks deeper. Situations could get worse, says Muda Yusuf. This is found on page 20. And that's all we're taking on the Vanguard newspaper. Now let's move on to the Nation's newspaper. We see at the top story here reads, new minimum wage hope rises for workers. Sub-story under that reads, 37-member tripartite panel to negotiate. This is found on page 2. Tinubu's support keeping us on our feet, Fubara tells loyalists. Details is found on page 3. Federal government economic reform yielding results. I take that again. Federal government economic reforms yielding results, says minister. This is found on page 3 also. And the headline here reads, Jimo Ibrahim takes Tinubu's renewed hope message to 203 Ondo wards. And that's all because that's a limited story. A little story on the Nation's newspaper. Lastly, on the stories for today, let's look into the Daily Sun. We see at headline reads, vehicle dealers cries out over inflation. Sub-story under that reads, transportation costs to skyrocket. I take that again. Transportation costs to skyrocket day one. Federal government beg federal government for waiver. Details is found on page 2. We see at the main story here it reads, crack in ECOWAS. Crack in ECOWAS. Mali, Niger Republic, Burkina Faso pull out. Sub-story under that reads, claim regional body has become threat to member states. Move shocking. They've not written us, says commission. Details found on page 6. Edo Guba, APC wants Oshomole, state chapter against vetting aspirants. Details found on page 28. NDLEA declares ex-beauty queen wanted over illicit drugs. Details found on page 5. Diri decries arming non-state actors at election. Details found on page 27. Ex-militants negotiators propose 30 days plan to reduce insecurity. Details found on page 6. God is source of my promotion, Fubara declares. Details found on page 6. 70% of Nigeria's food production, I take it again, 70% of Nigeria's food products rejected abroad, says NAFDAC. Details found on page 26. Tinubu playing politics, not governance, says SDP. Says SDP presidential candidate Adebayo. This is found on page 19. Plateau killings. Army chief charges troop to be harder on terrorists. This is found on page 4, and that's all be taken on the Daily Sun newspaper. Now let's get to see the reactions and the opinions of people on the street. Let's see what they have to say as regards the headlines on the papers. Okay, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Okay, I would like your thoughts on the Vanguard newspaper that says Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger pull out of ECOWAS.
For me, it is the right thing to do because they are independent countries. So they have the right on their own whether to stay or not to stay. And the main problem stems from bad governance.
Exactly.
If the government of the country is good,
The coup wouldn't have held.
there won't be any reason for coup d'etat in those countries. So they feel like their people they are not ruling them well. They may decide to pull out. Even I see in the nearest future, maybe very soon, more countries will pull out of that Ecowas because I don't know what they have achieved. By now, we ought to have our own currency notes. Like this dollar, it is killing us in Nigeria now. Must we be tied to that dollar? Can't we shift to another currency? You understand me now? So there is no one voice in the African Union, let alone in the Ecowas. So I foresee now in the nearest future more countries go to pull out of Ecowas because I've not seen any of their maybe major achievements since they have been member of Ecowas. There are crises in most of the West African states. Have they living to expectation? Have they been able to cope those crises? And they are now telling them now not to pull out. They can pull out at any time. That's my own opinion.
Then dictating for them to hold.
They cannot dictate because they are independent countries. They are no longer under colonialism. So they have the right to say we belong to this group or we do not belong to that group. That is my take on it.
But what if ECOWAS has good plans for them, like seeing ahead of them, knowing that it will affect them if they don't pull out in the nearest future? We know how the military government used to be in times. For now, let's say it's going on smoothly. The people of, for example, now Burkina Faso, they are enjoying this time because they know what they've suffered in 3, 5, 10 years ago in the democratic government. But we don't know the outcome of the military government in 5 years' time.
Everything bordered on good governance, whether military or civilian. It was in those days we say that the worst civilian government is better than the best military rule. But we cannot say now. You understand now?
Because the civilian rule has gotten very worse.
The civilian rule now, if you look at the state of violence in West African sub-region, look at how some countries, those insurgencies have spring out in each of the states. If it were to be during military regime, would it have happened? Like in Nigeria now, look at Boko Haram on one side, look at ISIS on one side, look at other militant groups splitting out from their different regions saying that they want to be independent. They have the right to be self-determination. Well, if we were to be during military regime, would it have happened? So me, I even prefer military regime than the civilian government that we have because they tend to politicize everything. Look at those bandits in the north. Who is filing the crisis? Is it not the politicians? Who is buying guns for those children? Somebody can even boast of 2,000 naira in his account. He's carrying AK-47, AK-49, and they are killing people, terrorizing people. Would such things be permitted by military government? So my own take, I even prefer military government. In any of the West African sub-region that military government has taken over now, let it continue. As my own opinion, because it's a lesson, it's going to serve as a lesson to other countries so that rule well. You understand now? When you rule your people well, there won't be any reason for coup d'etat. There won't be any reason for military to say, okay, we are stepping in. That's my own. Okay.
Thank you very much, sir. Good morning.
Morning, brother.
I would like your thoughts on this story on the Vanguard newspaper that says corrupt governance responsible for insecurity, banditry in the north.
Yes, actually it's true because the northerners, they are the one that is bringing corruption in this country because this our country is peaceful country whereby we are one Nigeria, but whereby based on the advantage of them is too money, you understand, based on their own, their population is very high, you understand, then we say we are very low, but we have the development, you understand, but when our people, like our youth that join Nigerian soldiers, the northerners, the top Nigerian soldiers or soldiers, they will post our people to the northern side, where they bring their people to this side, which is very bad because our side, and because they see that there are a lot of different kind of activities going on, and the crude oil and illegal bunkering that people are still doing too, which is very bad, we know. But at a time, we Nigerians, we have to be united. We have to love one another. The corruption in Nigeria is too much. A common man cannot eat 3 times meal again in Nigeria. The people are suffering. Go talk about the rulers areas. If you go to all those places, you see that the people are crying. It's very bad. Even the streets, a lot of people are crying. There's no development in our own side in Nigeria. We by youth development. We need Nigerian government to try to collaborate and try to be united. And the Northerners and we South, we have to be united. We have to form one Nigeria. As a time we are one Nigeria already. Lord Lugard have already made Nigeria, you understand, to come together. So we have to love one another. We have to make things happening in Nigeria so that the Nigeria will stand as one unity. But right now I can see that Nigeria is not standing as one unity. Because even the leader too, they don't even love one another, they don't even love themselves. There are a lot of things that is going on in Nigeria which people need to talk about the leaders. You know, there's no youth empowerment, there's no human caring, no sponsorship. There are a lot of people, there are a lot of talents. We have Nigeria football academy, a lot of things, but Nigeria in the street, there are a lot of people suffering. There's no empowerment, a lot of talent in the street. So I'm begging for Nigeria and I'm pleading, let the Nigerian government try to be united and try to love one another. Let us unite as one Nigeria as we did before, understand. But this time around, I don't really understand what is going on in Nigeria. Thank you.
What do you think? Where do you think the challenge is coming from? Are we having the issues from the government angle or from the people itself?
It's from the government, because the government, they are the people that all those people look up to. You understand? Once the government try to deliver the people, you see that Nigeria will be peaceful. There will not be kidnapping, there will not be other things. Because wherever man wake up in the morning, there's no meat, there's no food to eat, no work to go to. Understand? Man will be planning different kind of activity. Understand? We're planning negative side.
Exactly.
Because whereby there is things going on, whereby there's activities going on in the street, by the people, there's food. You see that people be thinking positive, be thinking of the way forward, how to move on. There are some people who could not even pay their house rent in the street, in the villages, in the ghetto. Because we all start from the ghetto before we reach to the higher level. You understand? There are a lot of people. Even the leader today, self, I can assure you that some of their own community is very low. Whereby there's no light, no development. It's very bad. Let us try to unite. My name is Monday Ndoni.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I would like your thoughts on the Vanguard newspaper that says Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger pull out of Ecowas.
For me, it is not a good movement, because pulling out from ECOWAS means ECOWAS body is not in order. Because if some members of ECOWAS is pulling out, it will bring a kind of untrust to West African nations. That is my own.
And it will start bringing conflict because others will start
because
pulling out.
now other countries will feel they are not pleased. But any other country can also pull out. So they have to resolve the issue and make sure they come back so that ECOWAS will be a united body. That's my own opinion.
From the angle of these countries that pulled out, do you think they did according to what they expected to do because of the situations and the conditions at ground that made them pull out?
What I understand on this issue is that they are ruled by military heads because of the overthrow that happened, the coup that happened in those countries. But they have to at least come together, agree on ground to do a proper election so that a civilian rule will continue.
So they will continue a democratic rule. But in situations whereby these people now want to continue, these countries want to continue in that military rule, don't you think they would cope that way?
No, it will bring problem in future because democracy is far better than military rule.
Yeah, something like that. But what if in situations whereby they say they don't want to come back or they want to be there, or do you think they will cope without being under ECOWAS? And do you think what do you think ECOWAS will do? Coping
with like is not go well because the citizens, if the citizens want to travel to other ECOWAS countries, yes, so the people at the head will feel that they can cope, but in future their citizens will agitate for them to come back to ECOWAS. But what on the other hand of ECOWAS as the head, they have to make sure all their members are together. So they should make sure they lure them to come back so that every ECOWAS member will be together and move in one goals.
Is these countries having military heads, like having military governments at this moment, enough reason for them to start having issues at the Ecowas? Because I feel like it's not even.
No, for me, it is not. They are not supposed to behave in that way, because why I'm saying so, if there is military coup, then ECOWAS as the head, because all ECOWAS content, all of them are affiliates to ECOWAS head of state, they are chairman, so they have to follow according to the rules. But if they are deviating from the rules, maybe now they give them 6 months to organize election, so they have to follow, because if you don't put good example, for people for now, then the future is not going to be well for the future generation. That's my own understanding, because them pulling out is not the solution. So what they have to do, they have to follow the law. The law is there before they kill. So they have to follow the law. They will not take their own personal interest. They should not use their own personal interest. Because of the at head, and I say, no, let us pull out. They will come and beg us. No. For me, it's not.
Now, I read somewhere that a Nigerian tweeted on Twitter, rather, he said, no time soon would the military government leave their country. If, let's say, these persons agree that they want to do away with the military government and enact a democratic government, do you think those military persons that held this coup were successful, do you think they would step down?
Nobody's above the law. Nobody is above the law. It is the citizen. If the citizens wake up tomorrow, say they are not going to be there, they will not be there. It was because everybody will need peace. So they have to obey the law of the land. If the agreement is that they have to step down in few months to come, they have to do that. If they don't do that, that means they are inviting external body. External body will come. If they pull out from ECOWAS, have they pulled out from AU? Exactly. Have they pulled out from United Nations? No, they are still member of United Nations. They are still member of AU. So those powers can come. And when they come over there, I don't think they can overpower them. So that is my point.
Okay, but I am seeing it like it's something that would not be possible anytime soon, because we know how far these countries suffered before this coup took place. Let's take Burkina Faso for example. We know all what they suffered in the democratic government before the military took place, and it seems like they are enjoying this military government. You know, nobody will put sugar in their mouth and they will vomit it.
If the man who did the coup, if he meant well for the country, he will organize a proper election, then step down. Because Abubakar did it for Nigeria. So he handed over the democratic rule to Nigeria, and since 1999, Nigeria have been in democracy till date. So if he means well for the country, if he doesn't want to be a life president, you have to make sure you organize democratic proper election for the country.
And maybe stand in place that he should hold successfully.
That is what he will do. So if he meant well for them, because he cannot come out today and say, because I apply Q, I will stay there forever. No. You have to remember that no champion lives forever. No champion lives forever. Tomorrow, he may have power today. Another day, his power will fade. So let him organize this democratic rule in his country. He have tried for them. You understand? That is what.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, this is where we'll draw our curtains for today. You've seen the thoughts and opinions of people on the streets. You can also be a part of this. Whatever thoughts, whatever opinions that you have concerning the headlines that are making rounds on the papers, please slide to our comment section and drop your comments. Do well to subscribe, turn on the notification button, connect with us across all our social media platforms so that when we drop videos like this, you get to receive notifications. My name is Obed Jerry, your host for today, and this has been the newspaper review here on TAP TV. See you next time.